All right, let's dive into a story that's a bit of a cautionary tale. It's all about what happens when your confidence writes checks your skills can't cash. We're talking failure, we're talking friendship, and that razor-thin line between being a hero and becoming a total punchline.
So imagine the scene. You're stranded on a deserted island. Things are looking pretty grim, right? Resources are low. This is the kind of moment that makes legends. You know, when one person steps up, takes charge, and becomes the hero everyone needs.
Yeah, well, that whole heroic fantasy, it can come crashing down to earth, and fast. Because, as it turns out, sometimes the most dangerous thing on a deserted island isn't the wildlife or the elements, it's your own ego.
Okay, so let's get into it. A hero's entrance. We've got 4 teenagers, 1 island, and, yeah, a lot of seaweed armor. Let's meet our castaways who are trying to make the best of a really, really bad situation.
So, here are the players. You've got Kiki, she's 16, her little brother, George, who's 10. They're kind of the practical ones. Then there's Coco, she's 15, and she's a vlogger, so of course she's filming everything. And finally, we have Blake, also 16, and Blake has decided that he is the hero of this story.
You know, while Kiki and George are busy doing the most sensible thing you can do, building a giant SOS sign, Blake decides it's time for his grand entrance. And I mean grand. He shows up wearing, well, it's basically armor made of seaweed and coconut shells, and he's holding this makeshift spear. It is quite a look.
And you better believe he doesn't just walk in quietly. Oh no, he makes this huge declaration, flexing for Coco's camera. He's not just Blake anymore. He is a wild man, a hunter, a hero, a pioneer. I mean, the confidence is just pouring off this guy.
And the immediate reaction from the rest of the group? Well, it's perfectly summed up by Kiki, who just asks, Blake, are you even trained to do that? You can just hear the skepticism. It's not admiration, it's just pure, unfiltered, what are you doing concern.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? In Blake's mind, he's thinking, who needs training? How hard can it be? But the reality is, he has absolutely zero survival skills. And as you can probably guess, he's about to find out that it is, in fact, very hard.
All right, next up, man versus monkey. This is going to be the first test of our hero's prowess. So, with his new wild man persona fully activated, Blake heads off into the jungle to prove himself. This is it, the first big test.
So, 2 hours go by. The others are waiting back at camp, probably wondering what amazing feat of survival is happening out there in the jungle. Is he coming back with a wild boar? Has he tamed the wilderness? The suspense is killing them, I'm sure.
Yeah, not quite. Turns out we might need a new definition for wild man. How about this? An individual who's been chased up a tree by a monkey who has also stolen his spear. Ouch.
And that heroic call of the wild we heard earlier? It's now just Blake, stuck up in a tree, screaming, "Go away, you monkey!" So much for being a pioneer. Meanwhile, the monkey's just chilling with its new spear, probably pretty confused.
Okay, so the hunt was a total disaster. But hey, a hero doesn't just give up, right? A hero adapts. It's time for Blake's next brilliant idea. The trapper is trapped. His foolproof plan apparently has one major flaw. So, an hour passes and Blake is back with a new strategy. He's decided that chasing things is out. It's time to use his brain, to be clever. It's time to build a trap.
And you have to love this. His confidence is completely intact. He's like, okay, so chasing down a random animal for food was a horrible idea. Fair enough. But then he follows it up with, this is sure to work. The optimism is just unwavering.
So what's this foolproof plan? Step 1, find some strong vines. Okay, makes sense. Step 2, rig a tree branch, for a snare. Step 3, wait for an animal. And then, well, step 5 seems to be catch yourself. I think we might have missed a step in there somewhere. So, 30 minutes later, the trap has been sprung. Something has definitely been caught. The suspense is unbearable, I know. And, yep, there he is, hanging upside down. Blake's own voiceover for this moment is just a sheepish, change of plans, I got stuck in my own trap. You really can't make this stuff up. The trapper is officially trapped. Which brings us to our final section, Survival of the Unfittest. A hero gets a new name. After 2 spectacular failures, Blake's grand heroic journey has taken a pretty humiliating turn. Now it's time for the rest of the group to weigh in.
Let's just look at the reactions here. Blake, he's looking pretty sheepish, just hanging there. George, the 10-year-old, is absolutely losing it. Just uncontrollable laughter. And Coco, well, she's still filming, of course. This is going to be great content.
And then, through his hysterical laughter, 10-year-old George delivers the final crushing blow. He just looks at Blake hanging there and says, "Classic Jake."
Blake, from his very undignified upside-down position, can only weakly reply, "It's Blake." He's trying so hard to hang on to that last little piece of his hero identity.
But it's just no use. George looks at him with this perfect little smirk and says, "Whatever you say, Jake." And that's it. His fate is sealed. He's not Blake the Wild Man anymore. He's Jake. And he's probably going to be Jake for a long, long time.
And that's really the story of Blake, or I guess Jake. In the end, his biggest problem wasn't a clever monkey or a poorly designed trap. It was his own ego, his complete inability to see that he was in way over his head. And it leaves us with a pretty good question to think about, right? When does overconfidence become your own worst trap?